Oh. Morning, Claire. Oh. Morning, Yasmin. Morning, Yasmin. Morning. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely stunning. Good morning. Took the camera off me for a bit there while I caught my breath. So, how are you this morning? Everybody well? Tuesday? That's us, we broke the 21 days and we're into 22 days of lockdown. Oh, to show you the path. Ralph! What is it? What is it? So, good morning. And I titled this morning, Fear of Change, the Yellow Brick Road, because that's what I was thinking about while I was on my sort of trek this morning. And the bit that I was predominantly thinking about was when The Wizard of Oz is in my top 10 favourite movies. It's just absolutely loaded with meaning. If you haven't watched it for a while, I would recommend it. In lockdown, it's great. And it's such a spiritual quest that they go on. I used to sit glued to that when I was a kid. But the part that I find really interesting about it is the wizard. And when they get to the end, the power and the meaning that they have placed on the wizard as being this all-powerful creator that should be feared. And when they get there, they find that he's actually just a small, insignificant man behind a curtain. But the power that they placed upon him. Good morning, Keeney. Morning, Kareen. So we're talking about the Yellow Brick Road, and we're talking about the Wizard of Oz and the meaning that was placed on the wizard, right? And through their own trials and tribulations, because they had to get to the wizard because that was the way home, right? That added meaning to it. And when they got to the wizard, if you watch it or you think back, he gave them, because they were looking for things, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion. The Lion was looking for a heart, the Scarecrow was looking for a brain. Oh, sorry, the Lion was looking for courage, Tin Man was looking for a heart, and the Scarecrow was looking for a brain. And you remember the wizard gave them a diploma from Kansas University. And the second that he handed over that qualification, they immediately accessed what it was they were looking for, which for me means that what they had was inside them all along. They just didn't have the belief. Now, I relate that to us, I relate that to myself. I remember personally, I was born in 72, so I was a wee guy in the 70s. But I was taught that truth came from authority. Like, for an example, going to the doctor to see a medical doctor. You would get dressed, not necessarily in your Sunday best, but you didn't get pulled along in a tracksuit because this man was going to fix you. And when you look back, the auto-suggestion of how the doctor would place the medicine towards you, this will make you feel better. This will take the pain away. This will. And of course, we've put so much meaning on this academic, if you like, that he's going to fix us. Now let's fast forward that to being an adult. I'm going to ask you to think about this, contemplate this. How many of you have had sore back, toothache, sore stomach, feeling a bit rotten, and your partner or your friends or family are like, that, get an appointment, phone the doctor. No, I'm not going to see the doctor. Phone the doctor. And a few days of this goes by, and your family and friends are pushing you to go and see the doctor, right? You make an appointment to see the doctor. How many of you has this happened to? You make an appointment to see the doctor in the morning before the appointment. You feel better. Your toothache goes away. Your backache goes away. So that starts to indicate to us that if you have experienced that, then just by simply acceptance of your ailment, step 1 of the 12-step process, acceptance of your ailment, in some way acceptance is empowering, because the denial of it is keeping you stuck in a program. But by asking for help or reaching out or admitting or accepting could be part of the cure. So that's what I was thinking about this morning, the yellow brick road. Truth comes from authority, right? This is what I noticed this morning. Now, I've started a different circuit. I'm not going round Lanark Loch. The reason I'm not going round Lanark Loch is I'm doing from my house in Lanark down the beaches, round Corehouse and back up Kirkfulbank, is because it's 8 miles. And I want to do 8 miles every day. Because why? Because I've started blabbering my big mouth off that I said that as soon as this is over, I'm doing the West Highland Way in 3 days. So if lockdown goes on for another 3 weeks, or another 6 weeks, why should I wait until I come out of lockdown before I go and push myself through doing 99 miles in 3 days? That would be silly. I've got an opportunity to do it right now, so let's get it done. Why wait? Why wait till the eventuality is upon us before we... Why wait till our friend is just about ready to die before we tell them we love them? Why wait until it's too late? A story that a lot of us are carrying about with us, I'm sure. So this morning, what got me thinking about this, let's make the mind matter, was this. So I've started this. This is me only on day 3 of this new circuit that I'm doing, right? And when you get to what would be the power station just beyond, just in the outskirts of New Lanark, they've got these Daleks. I've never seen them before. These kind of tripod Daleks, like these future-based security guards. And as you approach it, these lights come on and it speaks to you in an Irish accent. Now, this is not what it says, but this is what I hear. You are trespassing. If you come in here, we will take your family hostage. It would not be worth your while. Right? But in actual fact, it's not saying that, but that's what I'm hearing. Oh, it's this Irish terrorist that's going to, it's going to take my family. Right? And lights start going on and I'm thinking, oh no, I'm looking around about me for CCTV cameras, and all I'm doing is out a wee jog in the morning. So this is my 3rd or 4th morning of doing this circuit. Yeah, started it on Saturday. Something like that, 4 days, whatever. Do you know, this morning, I'm jogging along, I'm jogging past the green fence, and I noticed that I started to feel anxious. I went, was I anxious? I started to feel something. I can't put a definitive name on what it was, but let's call it anxiety. And I'm going, I'm feeling anxious. And I'm running along and I turn the corner and the Irish Dalek starts shouting at me. But of course I kind of bounce round, take up this martial arts stand, and then start chuckling to myself. right? I'm only 4 days in, and Skinner, the behavioural psychologist of the placebo effect, those of you that don't know that, he rings a bell, gives the dog the food, rings the bell, gives the dog the food, rings the bell, gives the dog the food, and then before you know it, he rings the bell, and the dog starts salivating, and there's not any food. That's how quickly a programme's been set up for me around about getting myself ready for fight or flight. Right? So, the yellow brick road, truth comes from authority. We were taught that truth comes from an external authority. Listen to your school teachers, listen to your doctor, listen to your dentist. Right? And see, when we start to look at the studies of that, you don't believe me, Google it. The Oracle Google will tell you. But they did a study with a guy who was a doctor, and I think he was a surgeon, and a surfer. It was a surfer, okay? And what they did was they had the surfer and the surgeon, and they had them in front of an audience, and what they did was they made the surgeon dress up like a surfer, and they made the surfer dress up with a surgeon, which was a white coat and a stethoscope round its neck, which, when the audience was to ask a question and receive the answer, which one did the audience believe? They believed that the person with the white coat and the stethoscope was giving them the correct answer. Morning, Bob. How you doing? I'm up Brown Courthouse. It's a great run, this, isn't it? Right, so we've been taught that truth comes from authority. So why? My question is why? Why were we not taught that we are our own authority and we know best about what we like, what we dislike, what to eat, what not to eat? Why were we not trusted and indeed empowered to and taught that truth comes from our own authority? So many of us now don't trust ourselves. We don't trust that we're going to make the right decision, and we're always asking, what should I do? What do you think of this? How many of you phone up a friend for advice about buying a new car or buying this or buying that? And I think the reason why we do that, we don't trust ourselves, is if it turns out wrong, we've then got someone to blame. We've then got somebody that it takes the responsibility away from ourselves, right? Responsibility. What does responsibility mean? It means that you've got the ability to respond, but none of us believe that we've got that either, until we are in the final hour, until we are in a situation where we go beyond the mind. Like, for an example, we've read about women that lift the car off their child, or there's many examples of, superpower that we can tap into when we are completely and utterly in a situation. The survival instinct kicks in. And I was talking to Marty Woodke last night about survival, fight, flight or freeze. And the reason that becomes dangerous is because we've moved away from our innate ability to just utilise the fear response and let it go. And for a lot of us, that's a very adaptive, what you would call an adaptive experience. It's part of our survival mechanism. We've adapted, that's kept us, we're getting chased by a tiger, we're getting chased by something, we can run away. But when that becomes chronic, it becomes maladaptive. And most of us are living in chronic stress. Morning, Nadia. Most of us are living in chronic stress. So if you're living in chronic stress, you've developed a maladaptive brain process program that's not helpful at all. Now, with this current COVID-19, it's now been going on for 21 days. They've just been absolutely bombarding. Now, unless you are levitating, somewhere in your mind, you have a fear of not making any money, fear of global recession, global reset, the amount of deaths, hearing about people that have got it, etc, etc, etc. unless you're superhuman and very, very aware, now awareness is key to breaking these subconscious and unconscious patterns of behaviour, we're going to be coming into a maladaptive programme of stress. So, as I said to you, why am I walking this every morning? Why am I doing 8 miles? Because I've opened my big blabbering gob and said I'm going to, well, okay, I've got a business that I had just started prior to this that was due to kick off in April, which is where, called Scouting About, where we were taking clients, just a very small number of people, or to walk the West Highland Way, and it was a place where you would walk and talk. So it was a coaching programme that I had developed where we walked the West Highland Way to do it. I love the West Highland Way, it's absolutely incredible. And I've blabbed my big gob off to my mate, and I was like, as soon as this is finished, I'm walking the West Highland Way in 3 days, 33 mile a day, 3 days done. All the threes, it's happening. And I thought, right, okay, big gob Ross. And I went, so am I going to wait until lockdown comes? Am I going to wait until lockdown is lifted before I actually go, time to go and do that? Right? Or do I start putting the training in now? So that's what I'm doing 8 mile every morning. I'll do it twice at the weekend. So pre-planning prevents bleep performance. So what are you waiting for happening? Are you waiting for Mr. Right to come? Are you waiting for the lottery to drop? Are you waiting for the next job to appear? Are you looking for some physician or doctor to wave the magic pill? Are you waiting for some new invention in neuroscience or psychology in order to then go, when that comes out, I'll get better and I'll get up and I'll get on with it and I'll do all the things in my life that I've really wanted to do? Wrong answer. Right? Live your life as if it's already happened. Get up as if your prayers have already been answered. Now, Jesus could walk in water because he believed he could. And personally, I see it as a metaphor, and I see water as consciousness. And I don't think that he actually walked on water personally. That's just my belief. I believe that water symbolises consciousness, and Jesus had the capacity to walk above and beyond consciousness. That reminds me of a story of Ram Dass. Ram Dass was part with Timothy Leary in the experiments with LSD and consciousness back in the 60s. And when he had experimented after spending quite a bit of time in India, and he had experimented with LSD in the West, he then went, well, I'm going to take this to my sadhu and tell him that I've got enlightenment in a bottle. Now, he went out to India and met his sadhu, and he took the bottle of LSD, which had about enough for 100 hits in it. And he was telling the sadhu, Ram Dass is sitting with sadhu going, we've found the key to enlightenment. We have it here. And the sadhu, yeah, really, Ram Dass? Okay, and he took the bottle of LSD off him and drank the lot, and it never touched him. Why? Because LSD works on a consciousness that the sadhu had already exited from. He had already went beyond it. He had left the world and the trappings of the wide gate, and he had entered in through the eye of a needle and went through the narrow gate and was living in a place of consciousness from his internal reality rather than an external construct. So, are you going to wait until, maybe my abusive husband or my abusive girlfriend will get better, maybe she'll start spending more time with me, maybe he'll start spending more time with me, this job will maybe come, my boss will maybe get better? If these are stories that you're telling yourself, that's not going to happen. It's time to act now. Whatever you need, you'll find it, and start to take yourself off into a new way of being, because life's so short and so precious that we really need to seize the day. We really need to grab it now and live, and start living from our hearts. Now, even if a small amount of people could take on board what Marty and I were talking about last night, the 99 monkey theory, you want to walk about with stress which tightens your construct, which tightens your holodeck you're living in, which tightens your reality? Or do you start to let go of the stress, let go of the fear, and start to open up an expansive, more walking in water type of reality for yourselves? And that is possible. But the meaning that we have placed on people, certain things, it's like hard men, isn't it? Gangsters. Oh, he's a gangster. You don't want to mess with him. I've worked in prisons, I've worked with hard men, and see, when you actually get to know them, actually get to sit with them, they're actually the softest, most baby-like, most little tantrum throwers that you could probably ever meet, right? So these people are living off their reputation, right? They're a nobody. They're just exactly the same as you and me. They might have a few quid and drive a fancy motor, but at the end of the day, why do we place that meaning on anything other than ourselves? So learning to walk the yellow brick road and realise that it's the journey, it's the strenuous, arduous journey that we take. And, you know, if you're following gurus or coaches or personal development coaches that are even counsellors that don't allow you to think for yourself, you know, or indeed have walked and lived their talk, you know, the secret, the law of attraction, yet they're living in a council flat in Wishy or whatever, right? The 19 principles and laws of the universe, right? They're just buying into you, they're just tapping into your market. How much of you came along, or are you just going along to these workshops and seminars and actually not excelling? You're not getting anywhere. If you look at the amount of people that have followed certain programming for a long time, how many of them have actually created the life that they wanted to create through going? It's a very small percent. All people get is the kudos of going and the, well, that's the 15th time I've seen this person talk. I look at them and go, what? You've been here 15 times. And A, you've not got it. And B, the seminar leader hasn't pulled you aside and said, I'm not taking your money off you any longer because, sorry, you're not getting it. Right? That's ethical. If you still have to go along and see, there's nothing wrong with increasing your knowledge, exactly. But it's like, for me, it's like you step your toe in. The way I work with clients, rightly or wrongly, is I do 6 sessions. That's it. You do 6 sessions. I'm not saying I wouldn't contract to do another 6 sessions with you, but come in, do your 6 sessions. That's the way it is. Leave, go away, implement what you've learned, right? If you're looking at developing further, come back and do another 6 sessions, right? So, any group that doesn't allow you to think for yourself, and that's actually why I left the fellowship, because I wasn't allowed to think outside their way of thinking, right? I didn't like that. Nope. Your fundamental rigid views, and maybe there is different home groups, I didn't search, but certainly my home group didn't allow me to think differently, didn't allow me to think deeply. But do you know what? If any of you guys that were in my original fellowship meeting are there now, right, yous are all talking the jargon that I was talking 15 years ago. So you have implemented it, but it had to be on your terms, right? It's not just the fellowship. There's other organisations that are out there. I'm not going to name them, but I followed a guy for 20 years, right? If you're not part of their group, they'll know entertain you. It's like Stephen, oh goodness, let me show you that, if you can see it. See the deer up in the hill there? Just looking down at us. That's stunning. Morning, Anne. Morning, Richard. Morning, John. So, organisations, people, places and things that don't let you express your own view. Now, a lot of you might not agree with what I've got to say. That's cool. But I'm allowed to speak about it. I'm allowed to have my opinion, the same as you're allowed to have your opinion. I put a post up a long time ago about, I was out for dinner one night with a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Jehovah's Witness, and me, a Christian. We were all out eating a curry. And you know, the reason that we all got on so well was we all allowed each other to have our own opinion. And see, when we actually got to sit and chat and be together, the Jehovah's Witness, now, I'm going to be completely honest, I align very much with a lot about what the Jehovah's Witnesses have to say, but I'm never going to be a Jehovah's Witness. My main alignment is Hindu. If there was a Hindu temple in Lanark, I most certainly would be Hindu, fact. But I've made a choice to follow Christianity, follow Christ, follow the word of Christ. But my belief of Christ is heavily entwined with Buddhism, because in 1993, I did Buddhism studies at Strathclyde University. So I think that Christ's philosophy and Buddhism is very, very similar. So if you're hanging about with people that don't allow your views or your opinions because it doesn't align with theirs, then what are you actually getting out of it? Change it. Move on. Find people that's going to accept who you are and what your opinions and beliefs are. They might not agree with you, but at least they allow you to have them. So, follow the yellow brick road. We're rocking on. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Thanks very much for listening to my rambles and thoughts. And if anything, I hope they are helpful. Have a great day. Blessings.